Okay, so Bernie Sanders has reached 1 million individual donors. Now, this is insane. He said on Twitter, 1 million donors have given to our campaign faster than any in history. We've now received more than 2.5 million contributions. We are the only campaign with more support than Trump. We will defeat him and build a country that works for all of us. If you look at the statement by Bernie's campaign manager, he says, our strength is in numbers, and that is why Bernie Sanders is the only candidate who is able to say that his campaign will rely only on grassroots funding in both the primary and against Donald Trump. So what he's doing there is he's taking a small jab at Elizabeth Warren. Okay, so Elizabeth Warren has said that she won't take any corporate PAC money in the primary, but she will in the general. So if she wins the nomination, then she will take corporate money. Again, we've discussed how this goes against all progressive principles. She's opening herself up to the corrupting influence of money in politics. And on top of it, it's pointless because at that point, I mean, you have so much name recognition and free press that you don't really need that corporate money anyway. So it makes no sense. But yeah, this is a small jab at Elizabeth Warren because Bernie prides himself in not taking any corporate money. Okay? Ever. In any campaign Bernie has ever run, he does not take corporate money, okay? Bernie Sanders relies on grassroots support. He relies on small contributions, on small donations from regular working class people. He doesn't accept money from corporations. He doesn't accept money from corporate PACs. He doesn't accept money from private fundraisers. Bernie doesn't do that. It's 100% grassroots support. And this is why it's a big deal. Campaign declared Sanders is the fastest candidate in history to reach the milestone and said 99.5% of his donors are eligible to donate again since they have yet to reach the maximum donation amount. Bernie Sanders, basically, he beat Obama's record the last time he ran, and now he beat his own record from 2016. So, because last time he reached the 1 million individual donors in January of 2016. This time he's done it in the off year. He's done it the year before the election in September already. It's insane. And if you look at Hillary, who reached her 1 million individual donors in May 2016, and Obama, who reached 1 million individual donors in February of 2008. I mean, this is insane. The grassroots support is legit. And it's very funny because the media keep trying to smear him and give you this false narrative that, oh, Sanders is losing momentum and he doesn't have the same hype as in 2016, when it's right on paper that he has even more hype and more grassroots support than the last time he ran, even though there are more candidates in the field. Let me put this into context for you. Bernie has raised the most money out of all the candidates. $33.7 million so far. No one has beaten him. Not Biden, not Buttigieg, not Warren. He has the biggest amount of donations so far and the largest amount of individual contributors. Okay, so this is a legitimate grassroots movement that we're talking about here. And if you look at the way he was treated yesterday at the climate forum, the students wouldn't even let him finish a sentence before drowning him with applause. Okay, he was treated like a rock star. As soon as he was done, Chris Hayes was chuckling because you had a swarm of students running up trying to take selfies with him.
Bernie Sanders, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be back in 15 minutes.
And I watched the whole thing. They didn't do that with Yang. They didn't do that with Marianne Williamson. They didn't do that with John Delaney. Bernie Sanders has legitimate grassroots support among students, working class people. And the DNC knows this. Last time after they screwed him over, they even tried to get his email list. Why did they want Bernie Sanders' email list? Because he had such a wide network of individual contributors that the DNC wanted badly because they know that, wow, this guy has accumulated an enormous amount of data from all the individual people that have donated to his campaign because they actually believe in his cause and what he's fighting for. And the DNC wanted that data. And of course, Bernie Sanders didn't give it. Thank God. That's a gold mine. It's literally a gold mine of data. And thank God he did not give that to the DNC. And again, this just goes to show you that Bernie Sanders has just unprecedented grassroots support in any political movement in the history of the United States. You guys remember that map also that the New York Times did where they had to make two maps, one with all the donations and then one without Bernie, because the one that showed you all the donations, I mean, Bernie was drowning out all the other candidates because the whole map was blue for meaning Bernie. The entire map, he was just drowning the other candidates out because the entire country literally was donating the most to Bernie Sanders. You just don't see this kind of grassroots support with the other candidates, okay? I'm saying, like, literally Obama, who won the presidency, didn't have this. Warren didn't have this. I mean, you can look at Biden, who's the front runner, and even he doesn't have this. A huge amount of donations when he announced, and then it plummeted. It plummeted. And it says here, Starbucks, Walmart, and Amazon are the most common employers of individuals who have donated to the senator's White House bid, while teachers remain the top occupation. This shows us that regular working class people are the ones who donate the most to Bernie Sanders' campaign. Why? Because he represents working class, regular people. He represents people that work at Starbucks, people that work at Amazon warehouses, teachers who he wants to raise the wage for. He says he wants to give all teachers a minimum of $60,000 a year, which is fair. This is one of the hardest jobs in the country. So you see, the point here is that Bernie Sanders garners support from working class people because this is who he represents. He's not here to represent corporations. He's not here to please private donors, okay? The 2.5 million overall donations have come in from all 50 states, while more than 125,000 donations make monthly recurring contributions. Okay, so these are people who haven't just donated once, they're donating regularly, okay? So they have recurring contributions every month. And it said before that 99% of these, of all of the people who have donated to Bernie Sanders' campaign haven't reached their limit. They can still donate again, and they most likely will. So this is very important. This is very important because no matter what the media tries to tell you, you have to look at these facts that Bernie Sanders has a wide range of support from regular blue-collar working class people, no matter what they try to tell you. Otherwise, they wouldn't donate. Bernie Sanders wouldn't be leading in the number of donations. He wouldn't. I mean, the fact that he's reached this milestone in September is insane. It's unprecedented in American politics. And to me, the most important thing in this entire article, pay attention to this line. Seeking to dismiss concerns over Sanders' electability, his campaign noted Thursday that it has attracted 81,000 donations from counties that flipped from former President Obama in 2012 to President Trump in 2016. So what they're saying here is that they've gotten 80,000 donations from counties that flipped from Obama to Trump. You always hear people saying like, oh, I find Warren more electable than Bernie. Even though I agree with Bernie, I think Warren is more electable. Or I think Biden is more electable. Yo, Bernie Sanders is getting the most donations from counties that swayed the election, from people that flipped Democrat to Republican. Rational National did a video on this. If you look at the donations from these same counties to Warren and to Joe Biden, put together, Bernie still has more than them. So don't tell me that Bernie is unelectable. Bernie is the one that will sway people who jumped from Obama to Trump. He can make them jump from Trump to Bernie Sanders. He can do that. He can make them vote Democrat again. So this is a myth. They're trying to smear him and tell you that, oh, he's unelectable and spew this false narrative. Don't listen to that. This is the facts. Okay, Bernie Sanders has the most support from swing states and the counties that switched from Democrat to Republican during the last election. Bernie Sanders is the one who can defeat Trump. If this is your primary concern, as a lot of Democrat voters say, then you need to vote for Sanders because he's the one who can get the job done. So don't believe this myth that he's unelectable. Again, you vote who you want to vote for, but don't tell me that Bernie can't sway Trump voters and he can't beat Trump. Every single poll from 2016 until now shows us that Bernie Sanders can beat Trump. He is the number one candidate to beat Trump. It's not Warren, it's not Biden, and it's not Hillary. It's Bernard Sanders. He's the one who can beat Trump. Every single poll shows us this. So there you go. This is an incredible milestone, and it's emblematic of the revolution that Bernie Sanders has created in this country. Even though Bernie Sanders didn't win last time, and who knows what's going to happen next year, he created a revolution. I mean, the entire Democratic Party has shifted into his direction. When we have a Democratic debate now and you have these 20 candidates on stage, they're talking about Medicare for all. They're talking about free college. They're talking about climate change. Bernard Sanders is the one who incited this revolution. He is the one who made the party shift. He is the one that they are all trying to emulate. The reason you have so many people trying to run for the Democratic primary is because they're trying to copy what Bernie Sanders did in 2016. They're trying to copy his momentum. They think that they can emulate that kind of grassroots support. But the truth is, if you don't represent the working class, if you don't represent the values that regular blue-collar people want, then you're not going to get the same thing as Bernie Sanders. And that's why there's only one Bernie Sanders. He's the real deal. He's the full package.